is a springtime ring to have a friend right in your corner. Your heart will feel a little warmer. Tender loving care, tender loving care. Each warm and friendly touch lets someone know you care so much. Tender loving care, tender loving care.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Greenbrier Almond, and thank you for joining us on our program, Tender Loving Care. Each week on Channel 3, I try to examine that interface between Christianity and medicine. And so I'm always interested in the spiritual journey of folks, and I'm always interested in healing and health and well-being. And so one of the ways that I have found as a physician over the past 46 years, and on this program for 39 years, is to talk about creativity. And so I just want to lift up one of those interfaces. It's in the Artistry on Main. This is the 6th book in a series that have involved my family. My father was a country doctor, Dr. Harold Almond, well known to many, and he has a wonderful book that is still the bestseller, actually, according to McLean Printing of Parsons, West Virginia, the bestseller in West Virginia. And out of that, then there were other books that have followed, and this is the latest that I'm holding up. And this is simply titled Stories of a West Virginia Family. And it's about how my 4 sisters and I were raised by our parents, Dr. Harold Almond and Lois Flanagan Almond. And in there, we have looked at 8 different parts of our life and wrote about it from the 5 perspectives of each child. And you get a blend of what life was like in the 40s and 50s and 60s and into the 70s. Going on a house call with Dad, you'll not find doctors making house calls anymore, so this is an interesting section. Our mother was a stay-at-home mother, always there for us, an interesting section. The first day of summer, of course everyone can identify with that. A walk remembered. We all enjoyed hiking in the woods as a family. Main Street, Buchanan. It was a fascinating place, still is a fascinating place. And Artistry on Main, across from the Dairy Queen, where we are today, is still a part of Main Street. But we wrote 5 stories about our Main Street. The role of spirituality, very important in all of our lives. We are body, mind, and spirit. And then we wrote about each sibling. We took turns, so we each were highlighted by another one. At West Virginia, that's who we are, and it's important to write about. And so we did a number of stories besides that, but I find this type of creativity fascinating, and I hope that you'll stop by Artistry on Main sometime. Pick up the book, look it over. Hope you can buy a copy for out-of-town guests, or perhaps for yourself, read it and then give it on to someone else. It's also in the local libraries, and you'll enjoy it there too. Well, in this vein of talking about creativity, I have a very special guest who's returning by popular demand, my demand, SaraGolden. Sara, thank you for coming back on our program, Tender Loving Care.
Thank you for having me. I enjoy this. Thank you.
Well, we are in for a treat, as we were last time you were on,
Thank you.
Looking at your art. And you entitled this Stream of Consciousness.
Yes, the series is called Stream of Collective Consciousness.
Oh, Collective Consciousness, okay.
And Stream of Consciousness thinking is doing without thinking, and my art is that way. All I have is the word that I have picked out for my project, which was a word a day, all of 2016. I wrote on the calendar, and it was a word that hit me hard and was poignant and universal, and it had to be a verb. That was my only criteria there. But whenever I do my art, all I have is the word to work with, and whatever happens, happens. So it's abstract art, but sometimes it's representational. And then the writing that I do to accompany that word, again, I don't plan it. I just let the Holy Spirit go through me and just work it through with that word until I am finished. It has to be complete silence, and it's a great spiritual journey.
Wow.
I'd like to share some with you. If
Yeah,
that's okay.
I would love it, and our audience will love it too.
I should explain a little bit about myself. I am a local girl from French Creek, West Virginia,
Okay, that's
living
right.
in my home place, and my name is SaraGolden.
Now, let me ask you about the Golden name. The French people came down from Boston area and settled French Creek,
Okay.
and some of them moved on. Most of us in the mountains were Scotch-Irish. So what is the origin of Golden?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how the Golden name came about, but I know that our history has been we've done the genealogy all the way back to the 1300s, I believe.
Wow.
So, and we came from England.
Okay.
So we've been around a little bit, but
So
related to the Pringle brothers, even.
Okay.
So
were you related to them, you say?
yes, we were related to the Pringle brothers.
Okay.
And I have some Indian heritage. I'm 1/16th Indian. I think it was my great grandmother, if I have that correct.
You've mentioned your family, and I've known other family members, but you have some red hairs in your family, but you're dark brunette. Maybe the Indian is coming out in you.
It could be, yes.
Yeah.
And two of my siblings have red hair, two of my sisters, and the rest of us all have dark hair.
Okay.
So same family, I swear.
Wow. So this stream of collective consciousness will take you a lot of different places, but all of them rich. All of them rich.
Right. I should say collective consciousness. I was going to explain that.
Yes.
Is the consciousness of everyone, that it could be taken something positive or something negative. And of course, I really want to concentrate on the positive aspects of things. So these words reflect something that everyone feels or has felt before.
I would say, given that we're at Artistry on Main, and there are over 30 artists who are exhibiting here, and some have come and some go, and so there are more artists out there. There is a consciousness in our community that this is the time to create.
I do believe so.
We have a Create Buchanan, a whole committee. Yes,
it's an awakening of art.
Yes,
all of a sudden
isn't it
at Buchanan.
exciting?
It really
exciting.
is. I'm so glad to be a part of it, and I'm fortunate for my timing, because I went 20 years without working on my art.
Wow.
And as a result, I have a lot of pent-up artistic abilities coming out that I didn't even know I had, and I'm very fortunate to be at the right time at the right place.
Good. Well, let's see some of the ways it's coming out.
Okay, this first one, excuse me, let me get my right glasses, is persist. And I'll read the inside of this card.
Tell me about the outside, though. Persist. I understand that we never give up. And
Right.
What are you saying with your art there?
Oh, there is also a little thing here. It's just lines go on and on and on in your mind. You persist with the lines. Right here I have forever, never give up, for eternally, believe in it, try, make it so. That's just your basic front of the card here. But the inside I'll read now. You are so full of energy, even though the sacrifices you made were taxing your strength. Sometimes you spend your time with worry, not allowing yourself to go forward. Why do you hold your breath, pacing back and forth, making a road to nowhere over things that cannot be changed by you? The portrait in your mirror is invisible to you, for you are stronger than you think you are. You have unfinished tasks in your path, so you must persist and push through the barrier that you have trapped yourself in. Be of strong mind and strong body with the intense power of your being, and nothing will stand in your way. It is clear. I think I stumbled over a little spot there. I have to make this very clear. The portrait in your mirror is invisible to you. That's a separate section of you are stronger than you think you are and have unfinished tasks in your path. Wow. So yes, this sometimes people get that feeling that they have worked so hard and they keep on doing something But they forget who they are. When they look in the mirror, they don't see themselves anymore. They forget.
Yeah, I have a lot of people who like to look in the mirror and talk to themselves and, in a sense, get themselves going in the morning.
Maybe that's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. The other thought that comes to mind here, she had 5 brothers and sisters and 6th, the youngest child, and so I'm on the old side of the family tree here. But the World War II was a big deal, and Sir Winston Churchill, in my babyhood and my parents' early stories to us, was a champion of persisting. Never
Yes.
give up, never give up, never give up. He told the British citizens, and they did not give up. By all rights, they should have been defeated by Nazi Germany, but they didn't give up.
And we're seeing a lot of persistence these days. We've got the Hurricane Irma that just came through down in Florida and Georgia just yesterday. So they have to keep that persistence and never give up. It's very difficult sometimes whenever you have trials like this. Yes, it is.
I'll tell you one other story about persistence, and see, because she's such a great guest, I can kibitz off of her, my ideas.
Thank you.
But I'm convinced my mother willed herself to live a few more days before she died. This was 1996, so time has gone by, 21 years.
Wow.
But Mom and Dad had a very successful and a very well-attended 50th wedding anniversary. And she invested a lot in the family and in the home and in the marriage. Anyway, by the 51st anniversary, she's very ill. She's had open heart surgery. All sorts of things are happening. She's died on the table, has come back to life. She lived for 4 more days after her 51st wedding anniversary. I think she came back by sheer will.
Probably.
Yeah.
I have also a mirror image of that story in a way.
Okay.
And that is, my mother died giving childbirth to me, but came back to life.
Wow.
And she remembers having some sort of a conversation with someone on the other side, that she had to get back and help Harvey raise the baby, being me. So she willed herself to come back to life and lived very many years past that time.
Yeah.
I was, she died in 2000. I was born in 1963. So
wow.
she definitely persisted.
Yeah, she did, and you're grateful, right?
Oh, I am. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I
would have been very sad without my mother.
Yeah, we were speaking to an audience that includes children who have lost their parents, and in our community we have a drug opioid crisis across West Virginia, but in our community too. And every month, some parent, some adult is passing away and leaving children. And it changes the child's life. And
it sure does.
I would say, if you are working something through like that, a grief issue, try art as a healing process.
Right.
There's more to say about that.
There sure is. I have one that I want to follow up with that.
Okay.
That stream of thought that we are having just now, and that is the word cease.
Okay.
Again,
cease.
all of these words that I thought of were very strong words that hit me. They were all positive words, and you're wondering, how can cease be a positive word? Well, I'll tell you right now, it hits on what you were just saying there, Greenbrier. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you realize that life seems to be harder than it should be. Imagine the most balanced and fulfilled person you know. They seem to be so strong and peaceful, no matter what the challenge. Do you think they are carrying a burdened heart filled with regret, brimming with worry, trudging through repetitive thoughts of sadness or even resentment? No? So why do you keep yourself pinned down, aching to be free of all the negative thoughts and self-defeating anxiety? Stop it. The time has come to cease anything that is keeping you shackled in your man-made prison. You know you made it yourself. Break free. Find your true self. Let the feather fall.
Wow. I want to kibitz off this too. We have, just in our Sunday school class this past week, we talked about the storms that we're having, 2 major Category 5 hurricanes hitting the United States. First time in history that this happened, and back to back, just a week or so apart. So we turned to the Bible to look at a lesson for life, and Jesus is wakened by his team, sailors, 4 sailors actually, and they're crossing the Galilean Sea in the middle of the night, and there's a huge storm, and it's about to sink the ship. And so they waken him and they say, "Master, don't you care whether we die?" I mean, why you're just sleeping like this? Anyway, he gets up and he speaks to the storm. It says, "Peace, be still."
Oh.
And the wind dies down, and it's a glassy sea. The wind ceases.
Right.
But God, Jesus, speaks, "Peace, be still."
Right.
I mean, cease.
That is telling it to cease. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
And we as humans,
Active verb too. Yes.
truly
Yeah.
have the power to move mountains with our mind if we just put our
Right.
mind to it. So
Absolutely,
there we
yeah.
have the persistence and stopping negative thoughts. I think
Yeah.
go together.
Great.
Let me grab the next piece. Is relax.
Relax. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to comment on the cover too, the art part, as well as the words, because we live in the age of anxiety.
Oh, we sure do.
And,
you can worry about anything and everything.
Absolutely, and people need to learn how to relax, and there's something in this art that's relaxing.
What I envision here is just something that is spinning very calmly, and the spiraling out, and it's just a calming blue. Blue is a very calming color. I'll go ahead and read.
Go ahead. Yes.
Now that you are wholeheartedly working towards your goals, you may discover an anxiousness to make every detail in your path perfect. There are other forces working opposite you on your quest, seeking their own completion. Have you found yourself frustrated and angry? Have you stopped taking deep breaths and stretching? You must realize by now that there are many paths to reach your goal. Sometimes a change in the route will be the better one. You simply must relax, unwind, seek the calmness of mind. Soon you will be able to step back and obtain the best perspective, the best answer. All is as it should be. That is another thing about the front is spiraling out and reaching a new perspective as well.
Okay. We have, I mentioned my mother and her willing her life to extend. And in those 4 days of her life, she gave me some final words.
Oh, she did?
Yes, and so precious. One of them was encourage Rance, and this is our son. I have extended that word, the concept, to encourage children.
Encourage
children,
Oh,
the children of our community,
Yes.
my grandchildren, my own children, of course, and Rance included. But because I think even though she spoke specifically,
she meant.
I think she meant to say encourage Rance and encourage children. In any event, it changed everything. I stopped taking care of old men at the VA, and I said, I want to take care of children.
I see.
And I went to Rock Cave and took care of children primarily. I had some adults, but I was taking care of children. That's why I was there.
Right, exactly.
I ended up with 500 children.
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't need to have 500 children, but God had opened this door.
Yes.
And so then I ran for school board and was elected. And so we have a motto. It's not relax, but it could be. It could be. That would be a great motto for our school system.
Right.
But it's expect excellence.
Right.
Not perfection, which is anxiety provoking.
That's right. That's right.
But excellence. And if we expect excellence, it is a relaxing, creative endeavor.
Yes. Any accomplishment you can pat yourself on the back for.
Right. Absolutely.
You can just.
Yeah.
Be happy with whatever you accomplish.
Right, because a
and
psychologist...
And keep on going until you're the best you can be, but not perfection necessarily.
Dr. Dobson, a psychologist, has written about children and parenting and so forth, and has had over the year a radio program called Focus on the Family.
Oh, yes.
And someone, as he's winding down, said, Dr. Dobson, don't you feel like a failure? Because here you were called by God to focus on the family, but the family's deteriorating. He said, no, you don't understand it. I'm to focus on the family. I wasn't to cure the family, to heal everything. That was way beyond mission.
Okay, the next piece I have is befriend. As you can see, Greenbrier, I have a friendship stick, or a spirit stick, some people call it, and a couple of different hands that are obviously different from each other holding onto the stick. And sometimes in life we get hurt and we don't befriend anymore because we feel as if we may get hurt again. And this is kind of what I touch on this card.
Okay.
Even though you perceive the world around you is on course, you may have neglected to be aware of others. Opening your bound heart certainly is risky. You have loved only to be wounded or abandoned in return. You have shared your most precious secrets and unveiled your most outlandish dreams, believing in trust yet betrayed in action. So your hesitation is understood. However, now you clearly see that even though you might lose your concept of who you are, dying with soulful and deeply troughed gouges in your spirit, you must befriend. The energy and support you will share is boundless and freely exposed. You will know each other with great intuition, fearless of obstacles, for there is nothing you can do to lose a true friend. Break through your shell, offer all that you are, share your journey. Love is worth the risk.
Wow, wonderful. We have a genius internally within the parish house here in Upshur County, and this is a facility, a building, but it's much more than a building, across from Wesleyan College. And they do Christian outreach to our community, and they speak of everyone as their neighbor.
Oh, nice.
And that's a genius, isn't it? Because we're not one upper party helping a lower party or anything like that, but neighborly or friendly. You could say, being a friend to someone.
Where does our neighborhood end is another question that we are facing these days.
Yes,
wondering how far we go. We should love everyone, I think, is my perspective.
That's right. The world has grown so small.
Yes, it has.
That it's time that we just say that we love everyone.
This next one is soar, and that is as a bird will soar in the sky. They reach great heights, and they have a different perspective on things. And this is a bird that has struggled a bit as well, and I will read about that.
Okay, so your bird is trying to soar, but hasn't soared.
It will soar again. Let's just say.
Before you go to that, let me talk about a bucket list.
Okay.
That my wife and I did. We decided this summer to drive Route 66.
Oh, wonderful.
Throughout our life, we've heard about Route 66. Begins in Chicago and goes to LA. And it's replaced in part by Interstate Highway, but there are all sorts of signs that say original Route 66 and drive off here and see this and that.
Nice.
So one of the places we went was the Grand Canyon, which is just off of Route 66. And there we saw a bird soaring. Oh, it was so fabulous. A mile below, at the floor of this canyon, which massive canyon.
Oh, yes.
The Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon, yes.
Anyway, the bird, the eagle in these cases, gets on top of a wind that's climbing, and the wind brings them clear up to the top.
Oh my goodness.
And they're so happy when they get to the top where we're sitting, and they're soaring above us. But it's a wonderful
That's beautiful.
experience. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
How well put. How well put.
Well, thank you.
You have journeyed far, and your travels have been filled with many trials and many memories, some of peace, joy, and hope, some of instability, great sadness, and defeat. You have become wounded with your wings clipped and broken, forcing you to hobble on the ground, pecking for scraps of self-esteem. Yet the powers to heal all of these wounds are rushing through you, rustling your feathers, cleaning the torment of the past. The wind is very strong and has the determination of a tornado. You are now stronger than any wind, and you may cackle in laughter at any challenge, because you have learned to harness its power, to glide on its stream and soar. From this perspective, those troubles of the past are but tiny specks on the landscape of your mind.
Wow. Now, in your concept of collective stream of consciousness, you're talking about the spirit.
Yes.
And here, once again, the wind is the spirit, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The wind can help you. The wind can be harsh on you.
Could be a tornado, yeah.
Yes,
Hurricane.
but you can be stronger and make it through.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wonderful.
soar, come above all of it. Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure these are divine words that have come to you.
Thank you.
I
feel like I am just allowing something to come through me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
You have any more for today?
Oh, sure.
I mean, we have about 5 minutes,
Let's
folks,
see.
and by popular demand. See, I told you it's popular
I
demand.
actually have gone through that stack that quickly.
Sarah's going to talk to us in the future about her art, and I would want you to paint a word picture about this collective stream of consciousness, because I believe that we all can catch that stream. I mean, at one place or another, just like a brook going down, and we used to put leaves in the fall, as little boys, little girls, and we would watch our leaf float down the river.
Right.
And of course, it would change sides and go over the waterfall.
Right. I believe that the first part of this is to just really listen. Just have some quiet time in your life, be outside, and just listen to what's going on around you. Try to be in a natural place and open your heart and mind to what the world is trying to tell you, because there is something there that you are supposed to hear every day, whether you get it or not.
Right.
So
and how hectic we live. We don't quiet ourselves, do we? I mean, people get up, they turn on a radio or check their computer.
Yeah, you can have noise the entire day.
Off and running, yeah.
Right until you go to sleep. And it's good to stop that sometime.
I mean, not that it's a minimal amount of time, but just so people can realize they'll say, I can't do this, I'm invested in everything else, but you could start with 15 minutes.
Even just 5 minutes of quiet time is so healing to you. And yes, 15 minutes is a good place to go to, and even longer. And just a walk in the woods could take you a half an hour, 45 minutes, and imagine how wonderful you would feel when you got back from that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We have lost a dear professor in our community. She was a Shakespeare professor and drama professor, and I'm blocking on her name right now. On it, but anyway, she's passed on. And Betty Norval, I'm sorry, Betty Norval. And but one of the times that we were driving up to Hemlock, where we have a farm, and we passed their little place at Queens, and they have a waterfall there. And she said, I want to take you on a quiet walk in my woods. And she did, and we went down along the river, and it was something very familiar to her. But she was creative to the very end. She was always writing a column in the newspaper and always creating things.
On the walk, she didn't speak with you hardly?
Not really. Just wanted me
wonderful.
To experience it.
That's a very nice thing to do with a friend.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're going to have Sarah as a friend coming back in the future programs over the next 4 weeks. And Sarah, thank you for being on today and opening your heart and your spirit to us.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And once again, your art is for sale. And we're talking about Artistry on Main here in Buchanan. But you are in several locations besides that.
Yes, I am. I'm at West Virginia Heritage Products as well, and different places around West Virginia.
Okay,
yes.
And we'll look forward to that. You actually have been down to Tamarack.
I've been accepted at Tamarack.
Wow.
I'm waiting to hear what they want from me.
Okay.
This is the
Isn't that
buying
wonderful?
time for
Premier
them.
Art Center in West Virginia. So
Yes.
we're talking to the real deal, folks. Well, until the next time, this is Dr. Greenbrier Almond thanking you for joining us on our program, Tender Loving Care. Special thanks to Channel 3 for the opportunity to come your way each week. We look forward to many programs like this of Tender Loving Care.
Stories of a West Virginia Doctor, written by Dr. Harold D. Allman. A collection of 55 short stories about his experience as a small-town doctor in central West Virginia. And Tender Loving Care, Stories from a West Virginia Doctor, Volume 2, written by Dr. Greenbrier Allman, using videotapes to write 70 additional stories of his father's very colorful life as a small-town doctor. They can be found for purchase at Amazon.com and most local bookstores. Tune into Channel 3 Buckhannon for Tender Loving Care with Dr. Greenbrier Allman, where he talks about the connection between Christianity and medicine.